get an understanding into it. First of all, what causes people to have belly fats, as it were, and whether or not these waist trainers, as we've seen a lot of people use, really help in dealing with the problem. And I do have in the studio with me Dr. Kelvin Owusu. He's a wellness consultant. Good morning to you, Doc. It's great to have you.
It's good to be here.
Yes. So please first help us understand really what causes belly fat, which is why people are then forced or encouraged to use waist trainers that we'll go into as well.
Okay, so it's fat in general. I mean, it comes about as a result of excess food or excess fuel. Let's call it fuel for this morning. You know, so your body uses what it needs to use today. So when you eat, that is the source of fuel. You know, your body will use what it needs to use today, and then it will store the rest. So fat is fuel you were supposed to use yesterday that you didn't use, that your body is storing for you to use tomorrow. But fortunately or unfortunately, tomorrow never comes because we keep eating every day, and so you never get to use the fat or the fuel you stored. And so that's why your body begins to accumulate fat. Now, where the fat is accumulated or where the fat is stored, it depends on the person. Genetically, people are predisposed to store fat in various places. Some people will store their fat in the upper part of their body. You know, so that if you're a woman, you notice that your bust will start getting bigger. Some people will store their fat in the midsection of their body, so their stomach. Some people too will store fat in the lower part of their body, so their hips. You know, so depending on...
But men don't store fat in that?
It's general.
Okay.
It's general. So depending on your genetics, you know, that would predispose you, or that would determine where most of your fat is going to be stored. You know, so it's not necessarily that you do a particular thing for you to get fat stored in your abdomen. It depends on your genetic makeup. So some people will naturally store a lot more fat in their bellies than others will. Some people will store a lot more fat in their hips, you know, their buttocks area than others will. And then some people will store a lot more fat in their upper parts of their body than other people will. It's not the sexual should I say predilection is more common for women to store fat in their hip areas than men would. But some men too also put a lot of fat in their hip areas. Men typically will store a lot of fat in their abdomen. That's why we develop a lot more beer bellies than women will. But some women also do develop beer bellies as well, even though we don't call it beer bellies in that regard.
Are you saying that people cannot have control over which parts of their bodies they store the fat?
It's a yes and no situation. I mean, where your body would naturally store fat is genetically determined. So in that respect, yes, you cannot determine where you intentionally want to store fat, you know. But with when you are intentional about it, so for instance, you know that I store fat in my abdomen. So I want to do a lot more abdominal exercises, then you can kind of determine, or you can kind of limit how much fat is being stored there. But if you just allow yourself to go, your fat would go where your body has already determined for the fat to go. You can't do much about it.
Wow. There are also perceptions that people who have pot bellies, as it were, or abdominal fat, they have them because they eat late in the night and they just go straight to bed. Can you really explain to us what's going on?
So, like I said, it's not how do I, let me put it this way.
Like you kind of accelerate this situation when you do these things. That's
so
what people
the fat
say.
will go where it has been programmed to go already. So the more bad habits you indulge in, then the more fat you are going to store. So if you are somebody whose fat is going to go in the midsection or the abdomen, then if you are eating late, yes, you develop your pot belly much faster. If your fat is to be stored in your hip section, then if you do eat late, you are going to have fat deposited in that hip section. The interesting thing is that when we say late eating from a medical perspective, it's not necessarily a time factor. So it's not at 8 p.m. or 10 p.m. It's the time between eating and sleeping. That's what makes it late. So if you are eating at 6 p.m., you should allow 4 hours before you sleep. So if you eat at 6 p.m. and you are sleeping at 8 p.m., that is late eating. If you are eating at 8 p.m. and you are sleeping at 1 a.m., that is not late eating. You see, so it's the interval between eating and sleeping that makes the difference. You understand? So I'm clarifying this because some people assume that once it's 8 o'clock and you haven't eaten, it means that you are eating late.
In fact, I've heard people say that don't eat beyond 6 p.m. because the body is slow at digesting food after that time.
But if I was a night worker, for instance, I'm working a night shift and I ate at 6 p.m., it's not a big deal because I'm going to be active throughout the night. So it's not just the factor of the time you're eating. It's about the time you're eating as against the time you are sleeping. So if you eat at 6 and you sleep at 8, it's considered late eating. You are going to store a lot more fat because you're eating the food to serve as fuel. If you don't use that fuel, your body will store it. And the mode of storing is fat. So the more times you are eating and sleeping in short intervals, you are going to store a lot more fat. So if you are predisposed to storing fat in your abdomen, then you are going to get a pot belly. If you are predisposed to storing fat in your hips, you're going to get bigger hips. You know, even though some people don't see that as a bad thing per se.
They actually love it.
You see?
But the emphasis here again is that when you eat, at least you should give yourself 4 hours before you go to sleep.
Ideally, it's 4 hours between eating and sleeping.
What about what I heard when I was a kid, that when you eat, you should sit for about 30 minutes before you go to sleep or anything?
It's also good advice, because when you eat, and especially if you overeat, you know, when you're a child, you know, most of the time, either intentionally or your parents will force you to overeat, you know, so your stomach is very full. So if you lie down immediately, you can get reflux, you know, which can either cause you to vomit or cause you to have irritation in your throat, you know, because of the acid in the stomach irritating the esophagus, you know. So that's good advice. Don't lie down flat immediately after eating, you know. Sit up, or if you're going to lie down, be propped up so that you can allow gravity to prevent the food from rising up again. And if you are somebody who already has gastritis or esophagitis or gastroesophageal reflux disease, you shouldn't be lying down immediately after eating.
Now let's talk about what we mentioned earlier, waist trainers. What are they? What do they really do to the body?
Nothing. Okay, so here's the thing. The waist trainer, I mean, it's more of a marketing thing than an actual tool for any significant health benefit per se, you see. And indeed, the only time a waist trainer is effective is when you are wearing it. Once you take it off, whatever benefit you think you are getting, it's gone. It's a fleeting thing, you know, and rather has more of a negative effect on your body than you actually think it is.
Tell us.
Yes, you see, many people are confusing the waist trainers with a brace. You see, because medically we do prescribe some of these things for people when they have problems. So a back brace, for instance, can help your spine. If you have a spinal problem, can help you, you know, align the spine. People wear it. People with scoliosis and other things actually wear it to keep their spines going. Now, the waist trainer, at least as they are being used now, where people think that because they are called waist trainer, they are going to help you train your waist to give you an hourglass figure, it's not true. You see, your body naturally has mechanisms in place. One of the most important things that your body does is that your muscles do. You have muscles in your abdomen. You know, these muscles maintain your posture. You know, they keep your spine engaged. When you put on a waist trainer, especially those who wear it every day, what you're actually doing is that you are let's use corporate terms, you are outsourcing the function of these muscles to your waist trainer. Now, as an organization, typically organizations will outsource things that they are not good at or things that they don't want to be involved in, you see. And over time, most organizations actually lose that function as part of their own core business. So let's say you have outsourced security. If the security people don't show up, the company is so dependent on them showing up that it becomes a problem. So when you outsource the function of your abdominal muscles to the waist trainer, the muscles also lose that function. So they actually atrophy. In other words, they become weakened, they become smaller, they can't hold your core. So it's actually common to see people who have been using waist trainer for a long time actually develop bigger abdomens as a result.
Oh.
Because the muscles that are supposed to keep the abdomen inside or at least keep the intact have become weakened. So when you become dependent on the waist trainer to actually hold your posture, and that's a very, very bad position to be in. So the waist trainer is not something that you should be wearing every day. Of course, we agree. If you have a party and you're trying to slay, as they say, and you put on a waist trainer to look good, that's fine. I mean, everybody must be uncomfortable to look pretty at some point. We understand that, but it cannot be your daily routine, because then you are putting your muscles at risk. You understand?
How long will it take for you to see that effect of you weakening the muscles in here so that you have that kind of effect you're talking about?
It's quite difficult to tell. It depends on why you started wearing it in the first place. So let's see a woman who has just given birth, for instance, and then starts tying the womb. No, and having said that, keep in mind that this whole concept is not a new thing. It's not a today trend. Women have been tying their stomach for a long time, you know, ostensibly to get back their shape. And so we've known for a long time that it doesn't work. So it's not a new finding. It's always been there. It's just that now marketing and social media has made it even bigger than it used to be, you know, and it's still not working. So a woman who has just given birth, for instance, because of the pregnancy that you've been through, your muscles are already weakened. You know, it takes, and that's why we say it takes a long time for the woman to recover from pregnancy. You see, because when the abdomen or the uterus has become so huge, your muscles have become a bit lax. you need time for the muscles to recover their tone. So now, if you started using waist trainers immediately after you delivered, it means that those muscles may actually never regain their tone. Because you didn't allow them to actually regain their tone.
Yeah.
And on top of that, many people use the waist trainers as a replacement for exercise. And so that's going to worsen the situation, you see, because now you are not exercising, you are not engaging the muscles intentionally, and then instead of leaving them to also naturally recover through their own mechanisms, you have also put the waist trainer on. So now it becomes a double trouble or double tragedy, And so that woman may never recover her tone, and her abdomen is going to remain big for a long time.
But there's those who have claimed that immediately after birth, when they tried it, it worked for them.
So that's the thing. As for claims, anybody can make a claim. Now, is that claim reproducible? It's not. You see, when we talk about science or scientific research, we need to make sure that the claim is reproducible. Is this something that when she does, is going to have the same result? And the answer is no.
And we'll come back for you to conclude on that. I want us to go to the street and get your thoughts. What you think about waist trainers?
I chose waist training because that one is less invasive. So I'm not worried about any complications whatsoever. It's not fast, but with the risk involved, I don't think I want to risk my life to do lipo.
I'll choose lipo because I feel it's much easier compared to the training, and then you get to get your shape pretty early, get snatched, you see, and all that. But with the training, you can train for months and then there's still no improvement. Beauty is pain, so you would settle for any effect that comes with it.
Surgery is not safe because you don't know who is performing on you. You don't know what can go wrong. I feel like the waist trainers are a safer option.
I'll choose the waist training because although it takes time, it will take a lot of time for you to get the body that you want. But me, I'm scared of knife. That cutting, I can't. And later on, I heard it sags then things. So if you go then get the side effects then things. Me, I prefer this one because I think this is natural.
I prefer non-surgical to surgeries. Just scared of surgeries. Yeah.
I'm more into working out, so I would just go to the gym and do a proper abs workout. That would be my choice. Not faster, but more healthier, sustainable, better. Also, it helps my whole body in general, and not only the waist.
I'll choose the waist trainers over the BBL and everything, because the BBL comes with a side effect. But with that one, it takes time, but it doesn't come with the side effects.
Now, in my current situation, I would opt for the waist trainer because I don't have money. Yeah, so I think the waist trainer would be the best for me now.
Well, some of you sharing your thoughts with us, and Doc is actually laughing throughout this. Let me get your preliminary thought briefly on what they said.
Well, I mean, I think per what I understand, we're giving 3 options, and most of them are choosing waist trainer and then liposuction, and only one person chose exercise. And the exercise is actually the only one that is effective and beneficial to you as a human being.
You heard the other person say that it will take months and you won't even see the effect of the exercise.
And that well, but you see, the exercise you're exercising is for the whole body, remember, and it has additional benefits, right? It's going to keep your heart healthy. You see, because one thing you have to understand is that people who keep fat in their midsection to lower section have a higher risk of heart disease, have a higher risk of hypertension and diabetes and its complications. So it's not something that you can just lose sight of. And waist training does not prevent the storage of more fat. In fact, what you're actually doing is that right now, because you are using a waist trainer, you are pushing the fat up and down. So what's going to happen is it's going to splint your diaphragm. It's a medical term, which means that your diaphragm cannot even move properly. So then you struggle with breathing. You might get used to the now reduced capacity of your lungs, but internally it's causing you damaging effects. So the negative effects of waist trainer is not just about your stomach remaining big. It can affect so many other things, so many other parts of your body. Then, of course, there's liposuction, where they go and then they suck out the fat in your belly. In the short term, it can give you some relief or some medical benefit because it reduces the amount of fat in your belly, which will then reduce the pressure on your organs and your aorta and vena cava and all those things, right? But because it's something that is done once, Once you stop, you don't exercise, the fat will build up again. You see, so at the end of the day, exercise at the fundamental level. You need to exercise to get the health that you are looking for.
And
very
be consistent.
And be consistent. Yes.
In about 30 seconds, if you can tell us really your final words, especially for those who are under pressure psychologically because society expects them to look a particular way, and they are forced to use these options.
So I'll tell you that at the end of the day, you have to understand that there's no shortcut to heaven, in a manner of speaking. We might want to look good for a particular reason today, but understand that whatever you do today, there's a price to pay for it tomorrow. And so look at the options available to you. There's exercise which is beneficial all through the year, all through time, which will give you additional benefits. In fact, improve your circulation, improve even your mental focus. There's that one, and there are the others. So if you're opting for the others, at least try and add some exercise to it so that whatever gains you think you're getting from the other ones, the exercise can help you sustain it. You cannot run away from exercise.
Doc, we'll have to bring you back to continue this conversation and to get some more. But thank you very much, Dr. Kelvin Owusu, wellness consultant, for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Sharing these thoughts with us. Yes, so if it's your birthday today, we want to help you celebrate. But hey, let's get to find out the person who got the 1,000 cedis today after you dialed *439#, followed the prompt, and now your number is showing up. So we'll bring you that very shortly. But like I said, if it's your birthday today, we want to help you celebrate. Yes, happy birthday. Yes, our very own Benjamin Nunu. Happy birthday to you, social media manager, MG Digital. Cheers to greatness from the Newday team, from Agenda team, from Shada, from all of us, Anita, everybody. Thank you so much for being a wonderful person to all of us. Benji, happy birthday to you. Yes, Kila Owusua Konama Danso. Happy birthday, young lady. Happy birthday to you. Lydia Nyaba, happy birthday to you, ma'am, of the Ghana National Association of Teachers from Roland Walker. Happy birthday to you, ma'am. We love you very much. Also to you, Kuyon, happy birthday to you. God bless you abundantly. To you, Priscilla Nikwe, happy birthday, ma'am. Annie Tete Kwao, happy birthday, ma'am. You're dearly loved. From Charles Beidu. Anita Tete Kwao, happy birthday to you. May this new year bring you blessings, flow. May God bless your new age. Happy birthday. From Ambition. Lawyer Sergio Leonard, happy birthday to you, sir. God bless you abundantly. Auntie Becky, happy birthday to you, ma'am. Muriel, happy birthday. We love you dearly, from your children. Mr. Ose Tutu Banahene, happy birthday to you. Judith Ama Otoville, happy birthday to you, ma'am. Florence Esinam Achu, happy birthday to you, ma'am. Florence Nadu Laye, happy birthday to you, ma'am. Also to you, Frozilla, happy birthday. Grace Kisiwa, happy birthday to you, madam. Alhaji Rufai Wuni, Esquire, happy birthday to you, council. Mrs. Tracy Mafo, happy birthday to you, ma'am. Anthony Sergio, happy birthday to you, sir. Rose, happy birthday to you, wishing you long life, good health and prosperity. Elizabeth Akofa Abuchi, happy birthday to you, ma'am. Patience Dankun, happy birthday to you, madam. Miss Priscilla Ansuma, happy birthday. David Kwame Bruce, happy birthday to you, sir. Mr. Alfred Ni Okanta Ankra, happy birthday. Mr. Benjamin Achen, happy birthday to you, sir. God bless you, from your wife. Perpetual Achelang, happy birthday. From Miss Big Girls. So that's it, and that will be our show for today. Thank you so much for staying with us through the week up to today. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. My name is Beatrice Sedo. Of course, I was here as well with Roland Walker. From us and the entire team, we say thank you for staying with us, and do enjoy the rest of our programs right here on TV3.